Welcome to the Sacred Emergence Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Wong, and I'm so thrilled that you're here. This is a place where you'll be guided to living your most aligned life so that your truest, most radiant self can emerge. We'll be jamming on topics ranging from spirituality, entrepreneurship, to wellness and lifestyle design, and everything in between that can support you to grow, evolve, and shine, all the while not taking ourselves too seriously. So if you're ready to step into your leadership, break through limiting beliefs, own all of who you are, and expand in abundance, grab yourself your faith cup of tea and let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Sacred Emergence. It's Michelle Wong, and I have another lovely guest for you today. Heather Adams is joining us by way of Seattle, not too far from me. And welcome to the show, Heather.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is so exciting.
Yeah, so Heather and I met through Camp Soul Dust. Not surprised. Not all of my guests, but many of my guests have been curated from camp.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and so yes. And let's share how you and I met. We met because you were you were first in the Ravens cabin, which was camp counselor. That was my cabin, and I just love you. So yeah, you're so fun.
And likewise. And it was a great cabin.
It was a great cabin. We had such chemistry between all of us. Yeah. And we had the best chair. But anyway.
All that aside, that we were the best.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited to dive into learning more about your journey and having listeners learn more about you, and your story and what Semi-Woo is all about, and all the things. So
yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I've done a few interviews, and every time I do an interview, my title and everything changes. What hasn't changed is that I'm all up in the woo life. And when I say woo, I mean all things spiritual, including meditation, plant medicine, Reiki, even yoga, on levels of mind, body, soul, work in mind, body, soul. And I think for so long, the word woo was a disparaging remark.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of our sisters, in the 60s and 70s took a lot of heat for looking into astrology, for accessing oracle cards and using sage around the house. It used to be looked on as something like the crazy lady in the group did. And so being woo-woo usually was met with an eye roll. And when I rolled up into this space, which I would probably mark 5 years ago, I loved that word. I immediately thought this world was really incredible and there's a lot to offer. And now it's right. You can be woo, and it's also called woke, and it's something that you should be. People aspire to be the sage stick wafting person in the community now. So using the word woo and semi-woo was sort of taking that back and acknowledging that there is so much worth in this world. And then the semi part comes from being a natural skeptic and still being human. And semi-woo became this symbol for the meeting of my human and spiritual self. And that moment, it's kind of if anyone's ever been on a plant medicine journey, when you're getting all the messages from the universe and you're feeling the connectedness of the universe and sacred geometry, and you're out there just, and then someone farts and you're human again. And then you're human, or you have to pee at the same time that you're having a connection with your ancestors. There's this weird meeting of your human body and your spiritual self. And it is comedic. It's weird.
Oh my God, I love it.
So yeah, 5 years ago, to just give my background and story, I was living in New York City. I wanted to be a comedy writer. And I moved there to be a comedy writer. I had been living in Seattle. And we started a comedy show there, my writing partner and I, Amanda. And it was pretty successful. New Yorkers love comedy and things are going well. And I saw this clear path to writing for Key and Peele or whatever at the time was my top dream. turns out, ironically, the comedy world is incredibly toxic. And it was very much so at that time. Very much so at that time. I was like, hell no. Like, I want to make people laugh. I don't want it to be this like substance abuse, alcohol laden existence that I have up till 3 a.m. trying to get 2 seconds on a mic to impress somebody that's doing what I'm doing. So it led to like this like temporary depression, which I'm grateful for. And I think depression a lot of times you're like, oh, how do I get out of this? Like, I want this to go away. But that's like a really fertile time to like ask questions, you know? Like if something doesn't feel good or feel right, like it really paid at that time in my life to get curious instead of like spiraling further downward. So
wow,
like anyone, I Googled, why am I depressed? And I think, you know, the internet can be like a tool, like a divination tool almost, right? Like old cards, because meditation kept coming up. It just kept popping up.
Like Google kept throwing up, why are you so depressed, meditation? Or you were like...
It just seemed like, you know what? I bet maybe there was like 2 queries that said meditation, but when you're in a state to receive, like a curious state, I think you see what you want to see. It could have been like, here's these great bars, go make some friends, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows? But at the time, it was like, here's these meditation classes in New York City. And I'd never meditated in my life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I thought it was all like Buddhist monks and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So I went to a class, and lucky for me at the time, Mindful, which is MND, it's like take all the vowels out, Mindful.
Okay.
MNDFL or something, was just opening. And it was like this chic drop-in meditation studio, like a yoga studio, but for meditation. And you could drop in all day and take these like 30-minute meditations. It was non-religious, non-denominational. It was super chic and beautiful. And it had just opened like a week before. Now it's huge, right? It's all over New York. There's like 3 of them. It's incredible. It's where like some of the top meditation teachers are coming out of. At the time, they're like, come on in. I don't know. Try it out. We hope we survive. So we're just like, and from there, like being in the meditative space, like my whole world opened up. And a month later, I was cut to working at a plant medicine retreat in Ecuador.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It just totally realigned my entire life.
Wow.
It's pretty nuts. I guess I should add that a month or 3 before I left for Ecuador, I put on a meditation retreat before I'd meditated.
That's insane. Wait, so
that was the thing.
You were doing the meditation at Mindful, and then how did all of that come about?
It's so weird. Yeah, this is my resume. Try to put this on paper. So a girlfriend of mine, Amanda, my writing partner, who was my roommate, had just come back from Ecuador and done plant medicine. She had been in a real deep depression. And like, so we each picked our path, right? One of us did meditation, one did plant medicine. And when she came back, we were like, look, we can't keep doing this comedy thing. You know, what do we do best? And years before, Amanda and I had run something called San Diego House Parties, which was this like big time house party circuit in San Diego. And we, at the end of that time, we had like artists coming from Coachella. It was like this big ass thing, but we were in our 20s, and it was like incredible. So throwing events was always our thing.
Okay.
And we were like, well, let's put on a meditation retreat. Why? I don't know. Because we weren't meditators. Like, I don't know where this idea came from. But again, when you're in a curious state and you're just kind of at your wit's end and you really don't have a lot to lose, like that depressive state, honestly, it can be a really good time to just be like, fuck it, and try some new stuff. I mean, it's like fertile soil. Depression is fertile soil. I would not put that on a t-shirt, but I really feel that way. Like life already kind of sucked and this thing was exciting us. This meditation retreat. So we booked a house on Airbnb and booked a teacher, and like, I think there was probably like 3 people there and then like us 3. And it changed my life.
Wow.
It was an amazing retreat. It really was. And then after that, I really heavily started going to mindful because I had learned this really powerful energy through meditation. Like weird things were like synchronicities were all happening. Like I would need like this is real life. I needed like I needed 2 hula hoops because I was doing this craft and dressing up my apartment because I was going to rent out my apartment. And I was like, where the heck am I going to find 2 hula hoops that fit into each other? And then I would like go outside and there's like 2 hula hoops that fit into each other.
Amazing.
So this is like a really fertile time in my life. And
Wow.
the universe was kind of confirming that. And then I just decided to go try plant medicine myself in Ecuador.
So sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry if like our listeners are hearing an echo for whatever reason. When I'm interrupting you, it echoes.
No, it's all good.
So plant medicine in Ecuador, are you talking about ayahuasca or like what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they were 2-week retreats. I did the retreat myself before I started working there. And you do ayahuasca and you do San Pedro and there's a sweat lodge. And these shamans are indigenous South American and Mexican shamans. Like it's their lineage, which was such an honor.
That's intense though. Whoa. Okay.
It's really intense.
Yeah. So ayahuasca, for listeners who don't know, is what, from a root?
It's from a vine.
A vine.
In the Amazon, the ayahuasca vine. It contains DMT, which is they call like the God molecule. And this is a chemical that shoots through us when we're born and then we die.
Oh,
and yeah, right. So like that's already really intense. And so it's about a 6 or 7 hour plus experience. There it is really purgative, like so you purge, like barf and the other way.
Really?
Prone to purge downwards, as they say.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's barfy. But here's the thing, everybody's like all caught up on the barf side. And that's why I brought it up first, so we could like address that. Because what this medicine does is like find the things within you, physical and emotional and spiritual, old traumas, old stories, old hurts, old patterns that you don't need anymore, and literally uproots them and brings them outside of your body. The barfing is completely healing and clearing. And sometimes when you're barfing in a bucket, you know what it is. Like, okay, that was a daddy issue or 2. And sometimes you don't, but all you know is that you feel 10 times lighter and that you let something go. So it was the single most important. Now I can't say that because I've had a lot of these. It was the most, it was like my gateway into where I am now, into who I am now. It was a huge deal. And the spirit of ayahuasca is this feminine spirit that's like kind of sassy and tells it like it is and had a lot of deep wisdom. Like any plant medicine journey, you have the like top realizations that we're all connected. Love is everything. Kind of like all the Beatles lyrics. And Bob Marley lyrics, like everything's gonna be all right and love is all you need. Like
they probably all did ayahuasca.
Yes. Yes. Like I get all those songs now. Any pithy little saying about open your heart like makes all the sense in the world when you're in that space. But yeah, I ended up living and working there for about 4 months.
Oh, cool.
In the kitchen, developing their kitchen program and cooking for everybody and managing that. And it was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the second plant that you said?
San Pedro.
What's
so San
that?
Pedro, so whereas ayahuasca is this very internal, like you have a mask or you're in your own mat and it's an inward journey. San Pedro's like the opposite. San Pedro's like, well, the way that we did it in ceremony, it's from a cactus and we sat in a circle, and San Pedro's an incredible heart opener. I mean, if you've ever wondered if unconditional love is real with San Pedro, you feel unconditional love. Total removal of judgment of others, total acceptance of others, total complete passion. And it's coming from this source, and we're all lifting each other up. And in that space, the shaman would work one person at a time, and they'd get to come with whatever need, ailment, trauma that they wanted to give up. And I mean, you hear the gamut. I have really had the honor of being there for some of the people's biggest moments of their healing ever. We heard it all, especially over the 4 months. So
is there a reaction to it, or
get a little queasy, but that one's not really purgative.
okay.
And there's a lot of ways to purge. You find that out, like burping, yawning, shivers. Like it's interesting. So yeah, San Pedro's more like a community medicine.
Is it hallucinogenic?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't
Okay.
say. Yeah. So, and then the sweat lodge itself, even if you didn't have plant medicine, a sweat lodge is a beautiful way to cleanse and purify and have an experience. So they did that with a woman shaman, and that was truly life-changing. I addressed a lot of like ancestral stuff there. And when I say that, like problems carried down within my family that some I didn't know about, some I did. I have a lot of incarcerated family members and got to like kind of reframe how I feel about that. One of the biggest lessons I remember, the plant medicine was telling me, being trapped inside of 4 walls is nothing like being trapped in your brain. And you can be walking around, quote unquote, free and still be imprisoned with your mind and the ways that we think and the ways that we feel about the world around us. So that was a huge deal.
Wow, that's deep and so true.
Yeah.
Like that's profound.
Right. Like you can be walking around and still be in hell. And then I talked to my uncle who's been in prison since I was born from the 3 Strikes You're Outlaw. And he is one of the most upbeat people that I've ever talked to. He's very hopeful and full of compassion, like he is free mentally, freer than some friends I have walking around thinking their lives are hell. So I'm sure he'd want to be out. And it's funny because he does have a Facebook, and I don't know if that's legal, but that's fine. I hope I'm not blowing up my uncle's spot right.
We won't mention any names.
Like, why not keep his Facebook?
Oh, so you spent 4 months in Ecuador and helping them with the program.
Yes. Helping healing. We got to like hold the buckets for people and dump the barf buckets.
Oh,
and
goodness.
When you're supporting, it's so funny. Like we would fight over that job because if you're meant to be in service, then wow, that's what you want to do. It was a joy and an honor to be that person. Because when I was the person that needed somebody to take my bucket or needed a hand to go to the bathroom or needed a hand on the back for just a second to get through a tough moment, it was everything. It was everything. And so it turned out that I went there for a healer's healing. This was work that I wanted to do, but I had no idea it would manifest into what it is now. I actually took time off to travel through Southeast Asia right after my 4 months there and go all over and learn about meditation in Thailand and Buddhism in Vietnam. And I also partied. I definitely partied. I like intermixing like partying and the woo and like really exploring like what this whole world has to offer. Some places were so somber and serious and it was all about suffering. And then some were like, just dance till the sun rises and feel yourself. And it was like super hippie and like almost eye-rolly like idealism. And when I came back to Seattle again for the 3rd time, I started Well Awake, which was like a meditation teaching classes at corporate places. And that made the most sense to me at the time. I think a lot of people took that route. Like, okay, how do I like take this thing that I love, right? Like woo and meditation and like be able to pay the bills, like not have to get a server job, which is what I had to do immediately when I came back. And it was like, it was really amazing to do, but it's really hard when you're like moving around. I was doing classes out of like co-working spaces and office spaces, and it never like gained this huge traction and momentum. Was it because it wasn't wanted? I don't think so. I think I still to this day think that's like a totally viable thing, but maybe it wasn't where my heart truly was, or I don't know. But for whatever reason, I kind of like faded from doing Well Awake for like, it was pretty successful for like, and when I say successful, I mean like people would show up to my classes that I'd have a few times a month. But it wasn't like paying the bills, And I hated that was what ended up being like so on the forefront of my mind.
Yeah, but you still need to live, you know?
I know, that's the thing though. That's the kicker that I think people in this industry, and I know a lot of others, are like, how do we like do what our spirit wants us to do and calls us to, and have a roof over my head.
Right. That's kind of like when you said that, I was thinking about like Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic. You know, like sometimes you just got to have the 3 jobs or whatever to make your craft work and not use your craft as your crutch.
It's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. It's not what anyone wants to hear, right? Like, I think we all want to be like, yeah, like get a message from spirit and be like, quit the job, you'll be fine. Actually, that's what I did in December. So,
boom.
I'm an Aquarius, baby. We'll pull the trigger right when we feel we need to. I was in a toxic job, so I actually did just quit my job in December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Flying on the wings of eagles right now. I have been doing mushroom retreats. So mushrooms have always been a little near and dear to my heart.
Tell me more, because, well, I'm just fascinated. Because people will smoke mushrooms, just
smoke
or whatever. What do they do with it?
Do you have psychedelic? Have you ever done psychedelic?
No.
Are you ever curious?
No.
Have you smoked weed before?
No. I know. My boyfriend's the opposite, and he's like, "You're so good," and I'm just like, "It's a conscious choice."
It's so true. And look, I'll be the first to say, and everybody needs to take heed, it is not for everyone. In fact, when I was having my deepest moments on these like crazy ayahuasca journeys in the foot of the Andes and the Amazon, like she was like, you know, you can get this from meditation. Like you can get this from meditation. It takes longer. I think it's harder, but absolutely I've had meditations where I've gotten the same exact insight that I have after, you know, a plant medicine journey. So the thing is, it's effective as hell and it's fast. It is not a magic pill. Oh God, don't we wish it would be.
Wait, so how do you take, is it a pill or you just like, what do you do? You inhale it?
Mushrooms is like you eat them.
Oh, okay.
I put them in a tea. I've never tried to smoke mushrooms. I might try that. So I know for reason. Watch it go totally off the rails. No, but yeah, you ingest them. So like some retreats, you eat them in a pill. I feel like that's like so removed. I feel like anything in a pill, like you want to smell that funky mushroom smell and taste that funky mushroom taste. So you're like get a little closer to the plant. That's my thing. You do need to heat mushrooms up a little bit to get their full benefit. But like certainly doing mushrooms in California in my 20s, like we just ate them. And they made you feel kind of queasy and like barfy. The tea actually takes a lot of that away. So yeah, we do it in a tea. And when I say we, Amanda, the same person that I've been on this journey with, she runs the Buena Vida, which was the like kind of outfit that we started so long ago doing a meditation retreat. She's kind of kept that name going and is doing retreats in Mexico. And they're fabulous, healing. Our whole thing has always been, we used to call them happiness retreats because we really wanted to have this like warm, fun, kind of like our house parties vibe with serious healing. So like when you have this uplifting feminine energy, inclusive space, you can go deep because we are sitting with people going to their darkest places. It really serves us and them to then have this balance of joy and happiness ticking away at these retreats. And I found that we can go deeper by keeping this balance. You know, a lot of people come to the healing space with maybe a vague idea of their healing, and then they kind of come across something like the true reason they're there. Some people come with a very specific idea of what they want to heal, but with the right amount of surrender, and surrender is a muscle. It's not like a given. Like you have to really like surrender is not easy.
Work it.
Most of us are little control freaks. That is one of my shadows.
Hey,
control freaks. Hey.
Party.
Like plant medicine's ridiculous, right? Because you're handing over like complete and utter control. It is so freaky. Before I go on any journey, I'm like, why am I doing this? Oh my God, how did I get here? I'm so nervous. But then when I'm with the plant, I can work on this level of surrender. And meditation has helped me with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's helped me surrender into the moment, to accept the ups and downs of life, to accept the ups and downs of the moment and not run from everything that is uncomfortable. There are so many uncomfortable moments on a plant medicine retreat. Mm. And I'll add this, I did have a Vipassana retreat, right? I did the meditation version of a plant medicine retreat, 10 days of silence and no eye contact, just as hard, just as deep. It was uncomfortable. You have to learn to sit with uncomfortability. And all that's done is make my life so much smoother, because I really can't control what's coming my way. As they say, this is so annoying, you can only control your reactions, right? Like how you feel.
Yeah.
And it's the same in the plant medicine space. You don't know what's going to crop up. But
I'm so with you. I think a part of the reason why I don't even drink is like the idea of losing control, and like that just freaks me out, because I want to feel safe, right? So it's like, I'm not against, like, I've entertained the idea of going to an ayahuasca thing, you know, but it's like I don't feel like it's my path to like healing. But like the control thing, and that's a huge part of like, I want to feel safe. But not that those aren't safe. Like, I know they are. But
when you're in that space, right? Like a lot of the healing, the ways that people heal things is confronting it, and then meeting it, addressing it, and then letting it go. This is the process of healing. So as those things are coming towards you and you're like, oh, here we go. I'm addressing this issue, this thing. You know, you can tell it to go away. You can fight your way out of it. But a lot of people surrender their control and go through the scariness of not being in the driver's seat, which we never really are, right? But we can like
tell that ego.
All right. It is freaky. You know, I think a lot of what really would like sell a mushroom retreat from one person to others, how safe you feel with somebody. And I encourage, you know, anyone thinking about a plant medicine journey, I would start with mushrooms. They're very gentle in like, you know, comparatively. It's a shorter journey than a lot of other psychedelics that can go on for like 8, you know. I did LSD and it would not stop. It's like 12 hours. Their deepest message is connectivity, love, and love.
That makes sense, because mushrooms all about connectivity. Yeah. Right? That's how they're grown. Yeah.
Exactly. They're all about connection, and they have really good physical healing. So we don't talk about that a lot. Like I use plant medicine a lot for my physical health. Mushrooms they're really fleshy, and they like to go in there and like turn over our cells and create new pathways and heal our flesh. And so they're doing like they're working, not just on a spiritual side. Have you done like a silent meditation retreat?
I have actually a few years back. I applied for one in, I think it's like Osaka. Like, where is it? On Alaska.
On Alaska? Oh, okay.
Not in Japan.
I'm like, cool.
And like, for whatever reason, I decided not to do it because timing wasn't going to work out, but I've considered it, and that would be something I'd be interested in doing. Yes. And then my other path to like just breakthrough is just through breath work, like the 3-part breath work, which I'm doing training on at the end of September.
Yes. Good for you. Those are powerful.
They are. Yeah. A lot of shit comes up.
Oh my God. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be plant medicine, but it has to be something where you're surrendering to what happens,
to what's coming up. Yeah. So like those I can handle, but like I think for whatever reason, I think it's like maybe growing up, you know, drugs, some are good, some are bad.
Oh God, yeah. Oh my God.
Like, yeah.
That's the truth. So I grew up in a very strict household, which I'm like, how did I get here? My poor dad. A lot of people are coming to heal stigma around these medicines. A lot of people are coming to heal really traumatic trips that they've had in the past. And what for them, I say you're super brave, because some of these, you know, and they're finding healing in that. You know, if it's about set and setting, the best thing I can do is keep a warm, open heart and a fluffy, nice, fleecy bed, and, you know, healing music going, and make sure I keep the space clear and uplifting and full of medicine. So, you know, after that, that's the best shot someone's going to get at help you think.
Of course.
Again, it doesn't take the plants to do the work. I just think the plants are here because there's so many people that need healing. It is a lot. We're in a bit of a situation right now. And we're kind of moving into a new way of being. So I think they're here too, a new era, which you can just feel, again, without plant medicine. All of us healers and people in the woo-woo world, we know that something's here.
Yeah. I mean, I feel it totally.
Right.
There's a shift in our collective for sure.
And so I think the plants just are like helping a few people over the hump. And okay, this is funny because most of the people signing up are in their 60s, 50s, and 60s.
No way.
It is not young little hippies trying to get high.
No way.
It is people, retirees, people in their 50s. A lot of religious people.
Wow.
People that worked a whole career, never did anything. A lot of first-time psychedelics users. So that's telling me that, like, this is people looking for healing, maybe that thought they were doing everything right, and then maybe they stuffed everything down and they need to uproot it, and that takes a while. So that's been really interesting. It is not people our age.
Wow. I mean, that, and also I think like the generation, you know, back then, like in the 60s and the 50s, I mean, there was probably like a lot of the suppression that you were talking about, like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of suppression, a lot of disconnection, right, from their parents, from the government, from a lot of disbelief. A lot of people also, you know, you could go either way, I feel like, at that time. And you could like do the psychedelics and have your moment, or you went the way and they promised you that everything would work out. And who knows where anyone ends up. I doubt there was one path that was perfect.
Yeah, no, I think it is like, that's different for everybody, right?
It's so true. It's so true.
So what do you do now? Because I see you hosting retreats, but you also host non-plant medicine retreats.
Yeah, because, you know, I love me some meditation. That's, you know, that's something we can carry with us. We use it in the plant medicine retreats. So I do something called Reset, which is like a 4-hour day of meditation. And everyone's like, 4 hours? I'm like, dude, when you've done 10 days, 4 hours, lovely. And what's cool about that is like, you have to surrender control. Like even in those 4 hours, it's like you don't have your phone. It is uncomfortable. You know, maybe your back hurts. You hate my sound bowls or something like that. You don't like the smell of Palo Santo, or you just want to freaking leave because you feel like I'm good, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So you can still get this experience of having to surrender to the moment, to stay in the moment, to return to the moment. That's what we need to feel an absence of anxiety about the future or regrets from the past, which is a lot of times where we all live and what causes a lot of our illnesses and a lot of our ill feelings. So I do the meditation thing because I love it. And then I'm doing mushroom retreats.
And where are those? Where do you host those?
In Port Townsend. So there's this beautiful little yurt. That's actually where I did a breathwork ceremony.
Oh, no way.
Beautiful little yurt outside of Port Townsend. Port Townsend's super trippy. Like there's a ton of plant medicine out there. Like it's a little witchy world. Like,
you know, I met someone on the airplane coming back from Seattle from California, and she's from Port Townsend, and she was talking about doing ayahuasca and all of that.
Oh yeah. Ayahuasca combo, which is the frog medicine, 5-MeO.
I lost
anything.
you.
Right, I know. There's a lot of plant medicine and a lot of different things, but they can all be found in Port Townsend, Washington, I'm sure.
I love it. I love Port Townsend. The peninsula. I just love going for nature.
That's just it. And you know what? I was like, oh, maybe I'll do it closer. But I'm like, no, because there's something about a journey to the place to do plant medicine, to cover water, to cross mountains, fjords. Okay, we don't have fjords, but it feels like there's fjords, to like have this journey to get somewhere. It's the same thing with the energy exchange and having to put your energy out there to then get something back. That I love that Port Townsend's the spot. The Olympic Peninsula is chock full of wild energy. And at the end of the day, if you were to sit somebody in front of a tree in the quiet and let them breathe and listen, that's healing. God, you could just do a retreat that's listen to tree retreat for a weekend. And
I would go to that.
the time of their life, right? Maybe I do that. Listen to tree retreat. That's going to be in June. And I'm going to put that on my website.
I love it. Sign me up.
It's just half the battle is like people removing themselves from their daily life to breathe and come back to nature. Then you top it off with somebody that's warm and understanding and a team of people that sees you. Oh my God. Okay. Then that could be its own retreat. Just sit around people that listen to you and see you for 2 seconds and touch you and hug and see, in this time when it feels like
so disconnected, right?
Disconnected, right? Especially in our city. And I know we get a lot of shit for the freeze, but this isn't the most like, hey, what's up, partner? How y'all doing, town? It can be tough.
Yeah. And even like, right now with the whole coronavirus stuff and like everything's getting canceled, like so like I love, I'll still go to my yoga classes and my dance classes, and it's just people are showing up, and there's like, we all need connection.
Yes.
We need each other.
We do. So. And those are things that heal us,
Yeah.
You take yoga and dance out for people, myself included, and I'm not going to feel good.
No.
So, I asked the lady that hosts the space, are you going to shut down? She's like, no, why not? We're a medicine retreat. And I'm like, yeah, cool. I get it. Yeah. Like, you don't tell people, be like, oh, sorry, we're going to wait to take medicine because you could get sick. It's like, keep the retreats going. And, a lot of people are out of work right now, and maybe it's the time. Maybe it's time. Who knows? We'll see who comes to this. It's always so interesting. Yeah. When whoever gets called at the same time to be in this sacred space together. So
I love it. I want to go to your 4-hour meditation.
Yeah, reset. They're great.
I want to go to reset.
I play the sound bowls. We do a journal. I'm a big time journaler. Do you journal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like diary, dear diary.
I feel like I can like picture you journaling.
I have so many journals, and I've not thrown any of them away. Yes. And like, I was like, it's like, now it's becoming ridiculous. And I'm like, I need to digitize my journals. I'm like, no, it's just not the same. I will lug it.
You read through them?
Sometimes I will. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm entertaining and crazy.
That's how mine are. Like, or there'll be like different eras where I feel like my writing's beautiful and I'm so insightful and like all these, and then others where I'm just like obsessed about some idiot dude that I barely remember, and it's like pages and pages. So it's not always awesome to look back, but what's cool is like seeing those moments that like confirm how I feel today, where I'm like, oh, okay, I was going to be here. This was something I was going to do. I read back to my first early stages of my first mushroom retreats and how beautiful I saw the world after that. And I was like, oh, okay, there it is. This didn't come out of nowhere, but
I love it.
So, and on the meditation retreats, we journal. I get the sound bowls out, which are healing in themselves. Sound waves have that ability to cleanse and clear us. I send Reiki out into the room. So you're just in this big, juicy bubble of really positive present moment awareness space. And it's so much easier to meditate when we're all kind of carrying the load. You can drop into meditation so much easier in this spaces. So I tell people that are experienced, come and have like a really great, it'd be like if you were like great at basketball, but you had the crappiest hoop to practice on. I'm like, come to the Olympic gym. You'd be like, hell yeah, now I can like really get in it. So I say for experienced meditators, come to that. And then for people that are new to it, it's great because there's instruction. You can feel the support of other people there. Distractions are a little bit easier to manage because you have someone guiding you. And you're going through 3, 4, 5 different types of meditation, including walking. We do an eating meditation that's really profound. The sitting meditation is the shortest part. So you kind of get to an idea of like, okay, meditation isn't the 20 minutes in the morning. It's having this focused day where you're paying attention and you're in it and you're curious,
you're present.
And you're present. And your life is so rich because you're thoroughly enjoying the things you're doing, not distracted in what's next. So yeah, I'll keep doing those for sure. And I was doing it at Heart Center, which is this absolutely lovely place in South Seattle. So
okay. That's pretty close to me, spot. I think. South Seattle area. I'm in Leschi, Mount Baker.
Gorgeous. Yeah. It's also, I think like if it's under a 30-minute drive, like it ain't that bad.
Yeah.
We're also stuck in our neighborhood. So
yeah.
And it's in a cool part of town. It's in White Center. So I'm like,
oh yeah, it's not that far from me. I love going to the West Seattle area and it's just further south. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great food. I'm not going to lie. I kind of feel like that's why I moved to White Center for the tacos.
No way. I love tacos.
I'm from San Diego. So like, it feels like California over here.
Is that where you are right now? West Seattle area?
Actually moved to Seahurst. We just bought a house and so no one knows where Seahurst is.
Yeah.
It's freaking gorgeous. So it's it's like 8 minutes south of White Center. And it's just this seaside town that's on the cliffs of the Puget Sound. And there's a beach where you can bring your dog and like your dog can swim in trails. And who knew? I don't know. It's weird. And we feel like we live in a secret neighborhood.
Like you and your partner?
Boyfriend, yes.
You bought a house?
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Exciting. And all the horrible things they tell you about homeownership are true. And all the good things are true too.
I want to come visit.
You have to.
I want to come visit.
I love it. Our backyard abuts the trees in the park. So it's, yeah. I'm like, I could have a meditation retreat in the back of my house.
Yeah.
We'll see about that. Yeah, but life is good. I'm still, it's funny because Rachel from Soul Dust, I had a talk with her and then she kind of put this in an email that like she started Soul Dust and quit her big time corporate job. And, from the outside looking in, Soul Dust was everything that I thought of like the pinnacle in success. And I still do because Soul Dust is incredible. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, the business plan or whatever it was didn't shape up to be the thing that would support her entire life. And so I think that's always the thing of like this balance of like wanting things to be accessible to everybody, marginalized communities, low income, upper income, everything, and being able to like pay your bills. I don't want to have a palace, but I do want my work to match what comes in, this like balance.
Yeah, totally. Like that energy exchange, right? So that you're not, I don't know, crawling.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, like, as you're trying to heal, right? It's not a healthy place to be a healer and be in a resentful or lack space.
Right.
I can't do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm kind of sitting in that now as I figure out how much this retreat should cost. That's
gotcha.
Like right before our call, it was just kind of like all my oracle cards and when you get out the pendulum and the cards are like, what do I do?
Yeah, totally.
But unfortunately, the best thing to do then is get quiet and meditate and just brain erase for just a second, just like calm down and breathe. But that's like the last thing you want to do when you have a dilemma.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
Oh man. Can I ask you on the air?
Yeah, you can ask me on the air.
Yeah, like and so this is going to be interesting for you because you don't have an interest in going to like a weekend mushroom retreat.
Oh, gotcha.
But what would you pay
for a 4-hour meditation retreat?
No, for like a weekend 2-ceremony mushroom retreat.
Oh my God.
This is hard to answer because it's not something you're already like dying to do,
Yeah, I think it depends. Like, would this be for newbies or just people who are curious or
like
returning
both.
people?
Like people that maybe have done it before, people that saw the Goop thing on Netflix about mushrooms and are like, I think that would help me.
Oh, okay. Oh man, I have no idea. I just if it's everything's included, like food and all that and lodging.
Yeah.
So you have to factor food and lodging, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to also factor in the cost of the mushrooms.
Right. Well, I have like my side of things, right? But when we're talking about like what people would pay, it's so interesting because I'm from the service industry, so we don't make a ton, or our wages are like kind of up and down. And right now, they're probably not great in the service industry. But then, you know, you have people that have like a tech job and they're like, oh, great, I could do this and that's and that. Right, I want to serve our whole community, not just people that can flippantly get a retreat.
Just go. Yeah. Then maybe a sliding scale and be specific about the income brackets.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I think about like retreats in the Amazon, right, that offer that. And I've seen them like, okay, well, the retreat itself is like maybe $2,000-$3,000, but you have to get the plane ticket, right?
Right.
So for something more local, I don't know, maybe like $1,000 to $2,000. I have no idea. That might be like.
I asked friends this, and some are like $200 or $300.
Oh my goodness!
I've got quite a range. I've got quite a range to work with.
Oh my goodness!
It has to come from heart, right? At the end of the day, but man, you know, I see mostly kind of older white people in the plant medicine space, and
they can afford it
because they're getting like really deep, again, ancestral healing. So this is flowing out to all their generations. This is something so many people need, and it's starting to bum me out that there's a lack of diversity in this healing space.
Yeah, so, and also like affordability, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that's really at the end of the day what the disparities are. Like, you know what I mean? You can be any color and be broke or rich, but wanting it to be accessible for all incomes, but still support my own life. What a journey.
Yeah. And like for me, in terms of when I said like $1,000 to $2,000, because I know the benefit that it can offer someone. So like if I'm really wanting a change, then I can see the value in it, but I'm different, right? Like,
well, I think you're not wrong, right? Because if somebody's like, I think this thing can help me, and they feel it in their heart, yes, then the price is like what you'll pay for something goes up. Yeah. I remember when I had sciatica, I would have paid $1 billion to not have sciatica. So like, you know, but then there's like, that's ethical, right? You're like, oh, what are people willing to pay? And you can go down that journey. It is interesting, the spirit and energy of money then that's a podcast in itself. You know, monetary energy in the woo-woo space and how to like hold that.
You are a delight. I can talk to you forever.
We should. You gotta come over.
We need to do that. Set a date. How can people learn more about you?
Yes, on my website, semiwoo.com. That's SEMIWoo.com. Got the Instagram and the Facebooks, of course. And the retreat is on April 10th. And on the website or my Insta, there's ways to sign up. Don't have a price yet. I will. It'll be somewhere between $200 and $2,000. And maybe that's the scale. And I am absolutely in love with people, and I'm absolutely in tune with healing. And I can't wait to knock out another beautiful healing retreat. They're so much fun. They're deep and profound, and they're light too. I don't know how you can have something profound and light, but that's the plant medicine space. And I will be doing meditation for my meditation homies, of course, more resets. So yeah.
Awesome.
Stay tuned.
Yay. Well, definitely check out Heather at her website, and then Instagram is also at Semi-Woo.
Yep. Awesome. Semi_woo. Couldn't get that.
Semi_woo.
Couldn't get the non_ one. There's like some cool chick in Korea that's like gets to have it. Maybe I'll talk to her one day. I did like write her. So anyways.
Nice. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for your time and for sharing your wisdom.
You're so sweet. I can't believe not so long ago we were cabining it up at beautiful Camp Solda. So yeah.
All right, everyone. Definitely share this episode. Tag us both on Instagram, and I will see you all soon. Take care. Join our free private Facebook group community, Sacred Emergence, to receive more connection, guidance, and support. and take part in our 5-day Inner Confidence Challenge to not only boost your confidence, but to help activate your inner leadership. Details in the show notes. Thank you for listening to the Sacred Emergence podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and thank you in advance for sharing this with others who can benefit. Until next time.